our political analyst John Dadian joins us now this morning, and you will be, I think you'll be surprised at the number of observations he made just on that last story, just in the last 30 seconds here. I want to share those with you. You were listening to Kristen talk about the shadow tour, and you said like 3 or 4 things right in succession that I went, ooh, good observation, ooh, good insight. Let's share that with everybody.
You know me better than anybody. I speak fast. I do, so 3 or 4 points. Well, the first thing is they're calling it a shadow tour, and I think it's borderline brilliant because one of the worst mistakes that even sophisticated campaigns make is they leave a statement of their opponent unanswered. So what's happening now is President Obama goes on his tour. He's doing very well when he appears, but then you've got his Republican surrogates right behind him saying, no, this isn't true. It's very effective.
Now, let's go a layer deeper that you made this observation in the last 30 seconds. Who's out on the shadow tour and why?
Well, let's see. Tim Pawlenty, a former presidential primary contender. Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana. Gee, they happen to be in a very elite group that's a short list of possible vice presidential candidates, and I think they're on a very short list. I think those are 2 very strong candidates.
Now, do you think that behind the scenes a conversation was had perhaps that says this is your audition, let's get out there and see how you do?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind, to answer your question directly, but it's unspoken. I mean, just everybody knows the worst-kept secret in town is, and what they're looking for is, as you and I have talked before, the one thing you're looking for in a vice president is somebody who does you no harm. So on this tour, they're looking for who makes the least mistakes.
And finally, again, all this in 30 seconds, folks, while Kristen was talking, Mrs. Romney made a statement that threw another curve into this.
And again, analysts like me really are trying to look below the layers and saying, was that intentional? Was it just impromptu? Is that trying to send a signal? I mean, there are several prominent women that are being talked about, one from South Carolina, which is a good balanced state, governor of New Mexico, a Hispanic female. So I think all of this, I absolutely believe that they have not made a final decision.
So when Ann Romney says, oh, yeah, absolutely, there's women in the mix here, and it could be a woman for vice president. Clearly
similar to the Clintons, that the spouse is one of the main advisors to the candidates, so that carries a lot of weight.
All right, let's bring it back to local politics here. The reason we invited you in, but fantastic analysis, thank you, was to talk about the candidates for mayor here and how that might affect the Chargers. This has just not been talked about. It hasn't come up, but you've got Bob Filner and you've got Carl DeMaio, and I suspect that they have an opinion on whether or not the Chargers should stay in town and what the city's involvement with that should be, but I don't know that we've heard that much yet.
Well, they're both, the positions are pretty similar, and they're both given the standard mantra, this is San Diego, we love the Chargers, we want to keep them here, but, ... And their big mantra is no public funding. And again, that's playing well in the public, the mood with the economics, et cetera. I make the analogy, the stadium is just like our human lives, and that is, as every day goes by, we get older, and there's going to be some point where it just, I mean, it is an old stadium. So what is the solution? Nobody knows yet. It's interesting. Mark Fabiani, the spokesman for the Chargers, he's kind of walked a tightrope that the mayor wants a convention center. Fabiani would like maybe something a little different, but he hasn't really opposed that. So they're still walking. I think there's still a chance to keep him here, but again, as every day goes by, I think it gets less.
Less of a chance that the Chargers stay. Are neither one of these candidates willing to even try to make the case that public funds spent wisely in conjunction with the Chargers investing might be good for the city and might make good fiscal sense?
No, they haven't made that case. They have basically pretty much, you know, again, their positions are slightly different. Bob Filner's come up with a proposal that some people say wouldn't go with NFL rules about sharing some of the profits with the Chargers. Then perhaps there could be some willing dealing. There's been proposals, perhaps, as the stadium used to be a shared facility with the county, and that way share some of the financial burden. But basically, no, both candidates have said no public financing, pretty much with a period after it.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to go back and loop back around and talk to the Chargers now. Anything else that you're seeing here in the last day or two that's really getting your attention?
Well, time is certainly on the getting back to national level. Time is zipping by, and we're already in July. So next month is the Republican convention in Tampa, and so you might see a vice presidential name before the convention. Normally it's touted out right at the convention, but I'm hearing rumors they might tout it out early.
These guys have got between them, we're talking about maybe $1.5 billion being spent. But they're both keeping their powder dry right now. When do they start spending that money I mean, when did the floodgates open?
Actually, I don't know if I agree with that. One of the
Really?
one of the criticism of the Obama campaign is they are burning through money, just the opposite. So they are burning. And again, what you're alluding to is the figure that I heard, which is just boggles my mind, is last month, in a 1-month period, $100 million, that a combination of Romney and the Republican National Committee. So there's different rules about how they raise that amount. But $100 million in 1 month, that's real money. So they both are raising a lot of money.
For most of us, $20 is real money.
It's a lot of money to me.
All right, political analyst John Dadian, good to see you.
Good to see
you. As
you.
always. Again, thanks for that spot-on analysis on short notice. All right.